to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Fort Lee Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published on January 13, 2023, and posted on the district website at www.flboe.com, published in the board's designated online media newspapers, the Record and the Star Ledger, filed with the clerk of the Borough of Fort Lee, and mailed to all persons, if any, who have requested said notice. Please be advised that this meeting is being taped and may be broadcasted on local TV and online at a future date. The Open Public Meeting Act allows for remote participation at board meetings and defines the word meeting as any gathering, whether corporal or by means of communication equipment, which is attended by or open to all of the members of a public body, held with the intent on the part of the members of the body present to discuss or act as a unit upon the specific public business of that body. May we please have roll call?
Ms. Cho?
Here.
Mrs. Curry?
Here.
Dr. Goffman? Mr. Knight?
Present.
Ms. Morell?
Here.
Mrs. Richter? Mr. Rubino?
Here.
Ms. Gaston? Ms. Colback?
Here. We have a quorum. The board will be convening to executive session to discuss legal, personnel, and other confidential matters. The board will reconvene into public session at approximately 7:30 p.m. tonight. May I have a motion to go into executive session?
Motion.
Second.
Motion Curry, second Rubino, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We are
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Fort Lee Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published on January 13, 2023, and posted on the district website at www.flboe.com, published in the board's designated online media newspapers, the Record and the Star Ledger, filed with the clerk of the Borough of Fort Lee, and mailed to all persons, if any, who requested said notice. Please be advised that this meeting is being taped and may be broadcasted on local TV and online at a future date. The Open Public Meeting Act allows for remote participation at board meetings and defines the word meeting as any gathering, whether corporal or by means of communication equipment, which is attended by or open to all of the members of a public body, held with the intent on the part of the members of the body present to discuss or act as a unit upon the specific public business of that body. May we please have roll call?
Ms. Cho?
Here.
Mrs. Curry?
Here.
Dr. Goffinopoulos?
Here.
Mr. Knight?
Present.
Ms. Morell?
Here.
Ms. Richter?
Here.
Mr. Rubino?
Here.
Ms. Gaston?
Here.
Ms. Colback?
Here. We apologize that we're starting our public meeting a little late. Private session went a little later than we anticipated. The board did convene into executive session tonight at 6:30 p.m. to discuss legal, personnel, and other confidential matters. Dr. Kravitz, will you begin by sharing your superintendent's report?
Thank you, President Colback. Thank you, everyone who's joining us this evening in person and online. We are 9 days away from the end of the school year. We've had a lot of events. Thank you to those board members who have participated. We have a lot more of the moving up ceremonies, graduation coming. So we're very proud of our students, and we're happy that they're finishing very strong. With us tonight from the high school is Kate Tino and Sophie Reimers, who are going to give us an update from the high school. Thank you.
On May 24th, Fort Lee High School students celebrated AAPI Heritage Month by hosting an assembly for their peers. Through cultural performances, guest speakers, and interactive presentations, This assembly sought to celebrate the vibrant heritage, customs, and traditions of the AAPI community. We believe that it was a successful assembly and
We're gonna turn your microphone on so everyone can hear you.
Can you tap it? Are you hearing it or no?
yes.
That's on.
Okay.
We wanna make sure everyone in Zoom land hears you. We're so proud.
Shall I?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
On May 24th, Fort Lee High School students celebrated AAPI Heritage Month by hosting an assembly for their peers. Through cultural performances, guest speakers, and interactive presentations, this assembly sought to celebrate the vibrant heritage, customs, and traditions of the AAPI community. We believe that it was a successful assembly, and we continue to aim to be the school that fosters a school community that values diversity, inclusion, and cultural understanding.
Eugene Huang won a silver medal in the American Computer Science League competition. He placed 19th out of 724 students, meaning he's in the top 3% in the worldwide competition.
Joseph Kim won a bronze medal in the American Computer Science League competition. He placed 41st out of 724 students, which is the top 6% in the worldwide competition.
Eileen Kang was named second team All-County Golf, and freshman Rebecca Lee was named first team All-County Golf.
Diana Valentini was named third team All-County in the 800-meter race and also broke the school record in the same event.
Imagination is a competition for high school students that encourages creativity and entrepreneurship. For this event, high school students are asked to imagine that they are living 25 years in the future and have been invited to write an article and design a magazine cover for Chem Matters, a magazine for high school students that focuses on the role of chemistry in everyday life.
The following students competed and won first place against Bergen Technical School for the Imagination Contest: Abigail Farron, Paulo Arcuri, Gianna Conti, Chaemin Yeo, Joseph Kim, Eugene Huang, Elizabeth Kam, Michelle Chan, and Jiho Choi. These students won a $50 Amazon gift card and will go to St. John's University to compete nationally in the Middle Atlantic Regional Meeting Imagination Contest on June 10th.
Graduation will be held on Friday, June 16th at the Community Center at 6 p.m.
On behalf of the FLHS Student Council, we would like to thank the Board of Education for allowing us to attend these meetings throughout the year and keep everyone updated on what is happening in the high school.
As underclassmen, we look forward to seeing you again next year.
That's it, Ms. Colvin, thank you very much.
And thank you both. We love to hear all the exciting things that are happening at our high school, so we really appreciate you guys making the time to join us. Do we have any committee reports? Do board members have questions or comments on tonight's agenda or any other topic? Julene?
Hi, I just wanted to congratulate this district. I was at the Academic Awards Dinner and the Athletic Awards Dinner and was blown away by the talent that we have here in Fort Lee. So congratulations to all the students and parents who got awards. I also want to congratulate Mr. Joya and the middle school band. They won the highest ratings that a band can get in all four ensembles: orchestra, chorus, band 7, and band 8, which was amazing. I also want to comment on all the schools who did field day. I was fortunate enough to be at the middle school and school 3, but I know that other schools did it too, and all the kids had a great time. So just amazing things continue to happen here, and it's really nice. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mike, I know you were at School 1. Do you want to comment on?
The School 1 did their play that they do, and every year it just keeps getting better and better. I could actually send everyone a quick video I have of it. It's amazing what's that? It's amazing what they do. Music teacher is way over the top and doing a great job. That's all I can say.
It was the kindergartners, correct?
Yes. You
Anyone
would
else?
think they were trained actors. That's how good they are.
And congratulations to Chloe, who graduated kindergarten this year too, Casey's daughter.
Well, I hope you all try to make an effort to go. There's still a lot of activities. I know we have the performing arts ceremony. I think this week we have the Academy of Finance celebration, and there's a number of
I think
things.
the
So,
music awards too, right, this week?
what is that?
Music awards, I believe also?
That's the Academy of Performing Arts, I think.
Yeah, Wednesday.
And, so yes.
Yes, at the same time, I think is the.
But you won't be disappointed when you go and see our students. May I have a motion to open the floor to the public?
Motion.
Second.
Motion Morel, second
Richter.
Richter. I knew I heard it over here, I'm looking who's down there, sorry. And before we actually vote, some very thoughtful people in the public have raised that sometimes when we close public comment, we do it with such haste and facial expressions that it's sending a signal that we just want it over and we really don't care. And so I would just ask everyone to be very thoughtful, and we love to hear from our public and be patient, because this was a comment that was raised with both Kristen and I, and so I want to pass it on to you. Because what we do, we're on the camera all the time, even when we think we're not, and people do care and they pay attention, and so if we could just keep that in the back of our minds when we close public session. Anyway, a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So we will follow our normal procedure. First, we'll hear from any members that are physically present here at the cafetorium. Then we'll take questions and comments from those participating remotely. For remote public participants, we're going to ask you to select the raised hand button. Our district technology coordinator, Mr. Ruggiero, will recognize each community member in the order of the raised hands by lowering the hand. Please then unmute your microphone and state your name and home address for the record and begin your comments. We ask everyone to try to limit your comments to 3 minutes. We do have some members of the public present here. Would anyone like to speak? If so, could you go to the microphone and identify yourself? Yes, sir.
Hello, Ms. Kolbach, do you remember me? We spoke
Yes,
in
I
the
do.
past.
I recognized you right away, but I...
Flamengo Kolbach. My son was in the team.
Your son-
Basketball. The basketball team was called
Flamingos.
Kolbach.
Oh, he was a flamingo, but I remember you because didn't you put in for an open seat on the
Yeah,
board?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I remember you more for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And my
But-
son happened to be actually in the
So
team.
your son is a flamingo, terrific.
yeah.
Could you tell us again your name and address?
It's Mohammed Mahmoud, Central Boulevard, Fort Lee.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you. I just have one quick question. I was reading on the Board of Education website something about 5'7", 5'6" transgender students. Maybe I'm not reading the name right. NJSA 18436-41 18A colon 37-15.
So
District.
what is the question? There might be like a reference to a law or a policy
I
that
just
we have.
wanted to know if the schools in Bergen County are following this I don't know if you call it a law or
It sounded like you said NJSA something,
yeah.
which would indicate that it's a law, and so I would hope that our district is following it, but I'm gonna,
New Jersey Department of Education, October 2015, NJSA 18A colon 36-41, 18A colon 37-15.
so I'm gonna defer to our superintendent, but again, if it's a law, then I would hope that we are following it to the best of our ability, but he could give you more specifics.
So that's District Policy 5756 regarding transgender students. The Board of
Yes.
Education is committed to providing a safe and supportive and inclusive learning environment for all students. The New Jersey Law Against Discrimination, NJLAD, NJSA, and 5, if that's what you're referring to.
Yes.
So that's in our policy. So regarding the policy, the Board of Education creates policy, and the district has to enforce board policy. So anything you see there, and then if you click on confidentiality of policy and privacy, and you see regulations, it is regarding that information. So,
Okay, so I printed it, and I have issues with some of the things there. But my question to you now is, does it matter if I have issues with that? Because if it's a law already, then I'm just wasting your time and my time.
so there are laws that we follow. It's referenced in NJSA 18A. So do we follow the law? The district is required to follow the law. The policies are set by the Board of Education. There's 2 sets of readings. And we follow those policies which coincide with are correlated to the state law.
Okay, can I ask you uncomfortable question? Did everybody here read it? Did we all read it?
So we have policies that are very, very extensive. We are
So
familiar
I will
with
give you
our
the
policies. Let me ask you, because we want to try to respond.
Right.
Is there something about our existing policy that you disagree with, and can you tell us what that is? And we have a policy committee and it meets and we consider whether we need to change policies or update them.
Okay. So under, I just copied pasted the Word document to make it bigger so I can read it. Under student-centered approach is saying, the school district shall accept a student's asserted gender identity. Parental consent is not required.
Correct.
That is what I'm having problem with. So
So
my son is gonna come to you and say, I feel like being a turtle today, and you're gonna tell him, okay, you are a turtle, but I'm not gonna know about it. I'm sorry to be blunt, but that's the only way to look at it.
So I can only say that as a school district, many of the policies, and just like with the laws, we follow what is deemed by the state law. We follow those policies, we follow those laws, that we have to abide by those things. As you know, there's a process when something is developed in the state of New Jersey, it is developed in the State Board of Education, and it's passed down. There are people, and there are who have beliefs and concerns, as Ms. Colbath mentioned. There's a process to follow, the same way with curriculum or anything of that nature, but the State Board of Education dictates what we do, and we follow that to the extent that we have to.
To the letter.
That's the law that we will follow.
So if my son comes to you and say, I don't want to be called Tony, I want to be called Antonia, you will not tell the parents by law.
That is the law.
That is what the law says.
Right, that's the law. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tanya Byers-Kang, and I live at 275 Tom Hunter Road. I was here I don't know, maybe I was here last week. And I really left a couple people out because I wanted to say what a fantastic field day we had, but I really wanted to say the custodians within the district really bust their tushies, taking the tables outside and running and doing it all with a smile. What I experienced in this building was incredible. I mean, they all worked extremely hard. Also, I'm hearing a lot of wonderful things about athletics happening, and that's great. I really think that we should, appreciate our athletic department, and our athletic team here at the intermediate school has done a great job as well. I know we've added some programs for earlier grades, which is fantastic, like the volleyball and the track, and these are all great things. I saw something even about people moving up to tennis, which is great. I hope that eventually somehow the town will figure out how to get us some more courts and maybe work on that facility that I know the bird watchers were not happy with, but it would be great to have that at the high school. I do want to bring up the honor roll again. There was on the front of the newspaper this week, there was a hospital that was recognized for having all A's. I see it all over the place, all different types of organizations being recognized for doing well. And I think it only, it incentivizes the students to keep wanting to do well. And I just ask you really to think of the students, because without the students, there is no school system. There are no contracts to make money on. Nothing exists without the students. The students are the reason that every single one of us is here. I hope that that is the reason. That is the core, is because of the students. And when you make the students better by whatever way, and I'm sorry, quite frankly, I don't want to hear that not everybody has the ability to make a good grades, because we have resources in this district that support students of all levels. We have BSI, we have all different types of, so many different types of programs where students can achieve whatever goal they have. If a student wants to achieve a good grade, we have the wonderful teachers, we have the wonderful programs that can help them to do that. The students that are doing that on their own accord, they should be recognized. So I'm sorry to, say it again, but please just look into that. And you know what, if we're not gonna honor roll, if we're not gonna take a grade and say, you know what, you did a good job, then let's just throw the grades out. Let's just go back to 1, 2, 3, and 4 like they do in elementary school. So that's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you. Just so you know, Tanya, the policy committee has, maybe a year ago, looked at the honor roll. It has not fallen off the radar screen. It has not moved ahead, as swiftly as maybe it should have. But it is something that is being seriously looked at.
Thank you very, 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 very much.
Seeing no one else here, do we have any raised hands?
Yes. Xenia Antic, you have been promoted to panelist. Please unmute your microphone and feel free to share your video. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Zhenya. I live on 5 Drury Lane, and I have 5 children in the district. So I have a couple of things. The first one is the 5756 policy that the gentleman referred to earlier. It's actually a recommendation. It's not a law. And I'm just going to read some things from a summary. So I apologize, I didn't read verbatim from the policy. It says, advises school districts to consult their attorney if parents disagree when they find out that the student changes their name. Direct staff to create 2 files for students, keeping one confidential. Direct staff not to inform parents if their child is receiving mental health counseling. Directs districts to allow access to restrooms and locker rooms based on gender identity, and references Child Protective Services as a resource. So my question is, do we follow all these policies? Especially I'm interested in the restroom one. I have one girl who is in the district, and I've heard of cases in some districts, not in our district, where a boy says I identify as a girl today and goes on to a girl's restroom and unfortunately goes on to rape a girl. So I just wanted to find out.
Do you have any other additional questions, or?
Yes, my other question is, and I apologize that I don't have time to come to these meetings, is what's the status of the new health education curriculum that was kind of deferred and postponed?
So as far as the second question first, the curriculum that was the health and physical education curriculum that was presented earlier in the year and adopted by the State Board of Education, the district did not vote to approve that, so we've been using standards from previous set of standards from previous years. I know the board will have the curriculum committee will meet in the very near future to discuss what moving forward we may or may not do. Again, as I said to the other gentleman who spoke, we follow the State Board of Education. I know there are only 2 districts in the state that have not adopted those standards. So we'll look into that and follow through, but the Board of Education votes on all curriculum. As far as the trying to find a hidden policy that you're reading from, where it says about bathrooms, then we do not have gender neutral bathrooms, from my understanding, in the district at this point. But I know that we can look at it, and we do reach out to council if we do have questions regarding any of these issues many times.
Okay, so just, I'm not asking about gender neutral bathrooms. I'm asking if children who used to identify as boys and now identify as girls are allowed in girls' bathrooms.
Not that I'm aware of, but I can reach out to the principals and get some more definitive answers. If you email me those questions, I can get you some specific answers.
Okay, sounds good. And for the health curriculum, you're just gonna let us know what happens and like.
Yes, actually, anytime we adopt a new curriculum, it has to be presented to the board and we will let everyone know. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, we have another speaker. Ms. Kestia, you've been promoted to panelist. Please unmute your microphone and feel free to share your video. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes. Ms. Kestia, you're still muted.
I just got in. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you. My name is Taya Chesa. My address is 484 Main Street, Portland, New Jersey. I have a few questions. The fifth graders because my daughter, she's learning Spanish and she said there is no choice for her. Is there a way for the new programs that are coming up that even the fifth graders can choose their favorite second language?
If you could ask all your questions and then I'll respond to all of them, that's easier. If you don't mind.
Okay, yes, okay, number one. Number two, we want all uniforms for everyone, start from Board of Education to the teachers, to the personnel and staff, and the children in the district. And we also, as far as for the transgender rules and regulations, who are the people that are in charge of these rules? And so we can ask them for however we want things to be done. Because as far as I understand, you guys are underneath their level and it's like they put the rules and basically we're there on the box and it's like, this is what. So which are there? Is that the governor, the White House, the senators, the congressmen? Who decides, or is it the the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., or in Trenton, or is it coming from a president? So we can ask and can request things like however one rules to those levels and not have a conversations with you because clearly it's beyond your scope. You're just there and these are the rules. I heard the conversations.
So thank you for your questions. As far as Spanish is the only language that we currently offer as a world language in the grades before we get to 9th grade. In the 9th grade, we offer more languages at the high school.
Can we have an option so they can choose, please?
So we don't have the ability right now. In the future, who knows? We're always looking at possibilities. But as you know, with most of the school districts, we have budgetary constraints, we have personnel constraints, and we want to just be able to maintain whatever language that we would offer, to maintain that through the multiple years so that we can have more and more success. So right now, the language is available is Spanish.
I'm sorry, one more thing though I want to ask. Thank you for the, there are children that already know when they go in high school which way they want to go. Is there a way you can channel it, the high school, like specialize the classes a little more? Some of the kids do know that they want to be medical doctors or veterinarians or attorneys. Is there a way you can have special classes for everyone in the district for these children that already have decided their path?
So we are looking into academies. We've started a teaching academy. We will have vocational trades academy as we add more and more academies. As far as tracking students, we don't track students as far as based on their intelligence of which academy they should go to. We have the Academy of Finance, the International Baccalaureate, so they have all those opportunities. Your question regarding uniforms, that would be a district level, but again, there may be some challenges associated with that. And as far as the transgender rules, who determines the rules? Well, there are There are processes for developing rules when it comes to curriculum. There's processes when it comes to rights of individuals, and that process is usually determined by the state government. And sometimes if there's concerns or questions, it gets challenged all the way up through the Supreme Court. I'm fortunate enough to sit next to two attorneys to my left, or Zulan maybe to my right, who can tell me more about the legal process as it goes through. But when people, whether it's a teacher or a student or a parent or anyone has concerns, they're always welcome to go through the judicial system and see what happens. But most of our laws come from the New Jersey State statutes, Title 6A and 18A, and then the curriculum and all of that information is adopted through the State Board of Education, passed down to the local boards who develop policies that are consistent with the state regulations, and that's how we determine what we're doing. So, again, thank you.
Thank you.
Stephanie Kotzo, you've been promoted to panelist. Please unmute your microphone and feel free to share your video. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, Stephanie Kotoyanis, Tom Hunter Road. How are you? Again, I am calling in regarding 5756, which is policy lightly, not law. And I don't know, the main thing that is very concerning about this is that it says it's going to a student-centric ideology. Well, that's very interesting due to the fact that these students can't choose to smoke. They can't choose to do a myriad of things because children oftentimes go back and forth between ideology. I do want the parents who are concerned about this to think about this one thing. This entire gender theory is made up by a Harvard-educated, whacked-out psychologist, John Money, who did these gender theory tests, we would call them evil science experiments, at which a set of twins both committed suicide at the end, converting one who was genitally mutilated as a small baby and saying, don't worry, I'll just turn him into a female, and made this little boy live his entire life as a female, and the child did not know what was going on, and both brothers killed themselves. And this is the person who brought gender ideology and theory into our lexicon, into our language. I am not a cis woman. I am a female. There is no male on the planet that will ever become female. There is no female that will ever become male. These are biological, grounded, scientific things. And the idea that my tax money would go to a school to hide information about me from my child, which is why my children had signed that they could not have any form of, psychological counseling at school, clearly in their records, because I want to know what is going on with my children if my children are questioning these sort of things. So 5756 is not a law. It is a horrific policy, one that separates children from parents. Nobody loves a child like a parent. We are not Maoist Marxists. We are the United States of America. And we have freedoms, yes, but a child's freedom does not carte blanche that of a parent, nor does a teacher carte blanche a parent. So when we're speaking about ideologies, many of which are grounded in religious belief systems, because some people worship at the temple of scientism. I don't happen to worship at a bow down temple unethically connected to financial resource and political viewpoints. We have a big problem. So I want to know, and by the way, I have a question for the panel. What's this gender queer? So is it just anything? What are we talking about? Why are we speaking about sexuality in schools to children? Period.
Okay, the time, what, could you just give us real, succinctly, what is your question?
I'm speaking right now to the parents who are listening, and they need to research Dr. John Money, the Harvard-educated psychologist that brought us the whacked out gender theory.
Stephanie, the timer went off. If you have a question, the superintendent will try and
My
answer.
question
Otherwise,
is,
we appreciate your
my
time.
question is, what are we teaching these children about a theory created by a man who produced
We understand.
suicide in his
We
patients?
understand it. We have the question. Thank you.
So as you know, this is public. I appreciate your comment. As far as what we're teaching our students, we teach our students the curriculum that is online, available to every parent. You can go to our FLBOE.com website, look at curriculum and instruction. You can see all the curriculum that we have, and that indicates what we teach at every grade level and every strand required by the state of New Jersey. So,
I guess the next question is, how are you protecting females?
Unfortunately, we've allowed you to go over extensively, so we have to now go to Howard Lipoff.
Okay.
But we hear your point.
Howard Lipoff, you've been promoted to panelist. Please unmute your microphone and feel free to share your video. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm trying to start my video. There I am. Thank you very much.
Howard.
Yeah, hi. I'm Howard Lipoff. I'm a teacher at the Lewis F. Cole Intermediate School. I am the treasurer of the Fort Lee Education Association, and I'm on NJEA's Government Relations Committee. Quite frankly, I'm very disturbed by what I'm hearing from some of the people today, and I find it as scare tactics that we're talking about girls getting raped in school bathrooms, suicides. No, that's not what any policy that the Fort Lee School District has or is promoting, or the state of New Jersey. What's being done is to try and promote that if children are transgender or whatever identity they have, they feel safe and protected, that we have a welcoming community for all children who attend the Fort Lee Public Schools, and that they could be educated and feel comfortable. And quite frankly, to the people who are saying, why don't we inform children when we get information about certain things in their lives? Well, there are certain children who just don't feel safe confiding with their parents about certain things, especially as the children become adults, which is really the process that they go through in adolescence. So once again, I think it's disturbing. I think it's part of a reactionary trend to kind of scapegoat students who are different. And I believe that we should continue what the Fort Lee School District has done so well in bringing people from all different walks of life, from different religious, ethnic groups and sexual identities, and having them feel welcome in the schools. And I really hope that we don't change that. I know there's a few school districts, 1 or 2 in New Jersey, that have tried to make a political issue out of this and try and do things that harm students. And what we've been hearing tonight, unfortunately, would harm students. We need to continue in our inclusive environment that Fort Lee has had. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you.
There are no more raised
I don't see
hands.
any other raised hands. Do you?
Nope, there are no more raised hands.
Okay. So having given an opportunity to everyone, may I have a motion to close the floor to the public?
Second.
Motion Morale, second Rubino. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, let's move on to resolutions. May I have a motion to approve items 1B and 2B?
Motion. Second.
Motion Morel, second Richter, roll call, please.
Dr. Goffenopoulos.
I abstain.
Mrs. Curry.
Yes.
Mr. Knight.
Yes.
Mr. Rubino.
Yes.
Ms. Morel.
Yes.
Ms. Cho.
Yes, but I abstain from 1B.
She abstained from 1B? Yes. Ms. Richter.
Yes.
Ms. Stasu.
Yes.
Ms. Colback.
Yes. May I have a motion to approve items 1 CUR through 6 CUR?
Motion. Second.
Motion Morel, second Richter, roll call, please.
Yes. Mrs. Curry.
Yes.
Mrs. Cho.
Yes.
Ms. Stasu.
Yes.
Ms. Morel.
Yes.
Mr. Knight.
Yes.
Dr. Goffenopoulos.
Yes.
Mr. Rubino.
Yes.
Ms. Colback.
Yes. May I have a motion to approve items 1F through 15F?
Motion.
Motion Curry, second Morel, roll call, please.
Mrs. Curry.
Yes.
Mr. Rubino.
Yes.
Ms. Cho.
Yes.
Ms. Stasu.
Yes.
Mrs. Richter.
Yes.
Ms. Morel.
Yes.
Mr. Knight.
Yes.
Dr. Goffenopoulos.
Yes.
Ms. Colback.
Yes. May I have a motion to approve items 1P through 16P?
Motion. Second.
Motion Morel, second Richter, roll call, please.
Ms. Stasu.
Yes.
Mr. Knight.
Yes.
Dr. Goffenopoulos.
Yes.
Mr. Rubino.
Yes.
Ms. Morel.
Yes.
Ms. Cho.
Yes.
Mrs. Curry.
Yes.
Mrs. Richter.
Yes.
Ms. Colback.
Yes. May I have a motion to approve item 1 POL?
Motion. Second.
Motion Morel, second Richter, roll call, please.
Ms. Stasu.
Yes.
Mrs. Richter.
Yes.
Ms. Morel.
Yes.
Ms. Cho.
Yes.
Dr. Goffenopoulos.
Yes.
Mr. Knight.
Yes.
Mr. Rubino.
Yes.
Mrs. Curry.
Yes.
Ms. Colback.
Yes. Okay, moving on, does anyone have any old business? Does anyone have any new business?
I forgot to say something before. I want to just also add in that the middle school, led by Mr. Diaz and the amazing teachers that are with them, are in Philadelphia right now for the first time since pre-COVID. They've been on an overnight trip, so this is the 8th graders, and it's very exciting for them. And I'm just really glad that they brought it back. So thank you to the PTAs and the teachers and whoever had a role in this, because I think it's great.
Anyone else? May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion Curry, second Morel, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Thank you all for coming out tonight.